What's up, YouTube? It's your guy Truth coming back at you again. Want to talk about a few things today. One of the things that just crossed my mind earlier today was looking at Cam Newton. I talk about Cam Newton because, at one point he was that guy to me. I'm from the Carolinas, and I was a Panthers fan for the longest time, and I stopped liking the Panthers because of Cam Newton, right? Because of how they did him. And some of the experiences he had afterwards. So I was always a Cam Newton guy because of the fame he brought to Carolinas, regardless of some of the questionable things he did on the field, and some of the questionable outfits he's worn. I don't know who this guy's peacocking for, but nigga, here nor there, he came. He was a Southern guy. Came to Carolina, and he put some relevance on the map, right? And I appreciate them young guys doing that. Same thing that Melo Ball is doing for the Hornets right now. These guys, they're coming in, they're balling out. So I appreciate that about Cam. But what I don't appreciate is the lesson that he's teaching the young men with money, right? So Cam said recently that he had $100 million, maybe $100 million over a career. But, he's unable to financially provide for his family like he used to, right? What did you do with your money, Cam? I'm not saying you could have saved it all. It'd been great if you'd have saved some of it, obviously. But you didn't invest none of it. You didn't decide that, hey, this career is willing to come. Because there had to be some point when you realize you can't do this NFL stuff forever, right? Cam looked like he's probably better than most people still at his age and his physique right now, right? But, the NFL is physically tolling, right? So there had to be some point, or you should have had someone in your ear that said, hey, Cam, we can't do this forever. Maybe we need to start pivoting as far as how we spend our money, how many children we going to keep procreating, and, the women that we're dealing with. Cam said at one point he used to go to the strip club, and he would try to outspend people. But now you're complaining about you're not able to provide the lifestyle for your kids that you used to. So, you in the strip club blowing money, knowing you got kids, out here creating more kids. You were living a reckless lifestyle, sir. You were absolutely reckless. So you're out here creating broken homes. What I mean by that, a lot of people fight me in the comments and be like, oh, well, me and my baby mama didn't work out, or me and my baby daddy didn't work out, so this is why we're not together. I understand that. I personally, I want all families to stay together, right? And especially in the black community, I feel like there's a lot of broken homes. There's a lot of homes where there's no fathers present, and I think this is what causes a lot of the issues in the black community, because there are no males present to regulate and discipline children, and they don't do it because their daddies weren't present, right? They weren't taught by a man, so they don't know how to teach men, and they don't know how to guide women, right? So I'm not putting it on anybody for if they had to move on from a relationship, but that's the number one problem that we have in the black community, is that there's a lot of fatherless homes, right? A lot of broken homes. And even if you're a good dad, right? Even if you're a great dad, you can't, if you don't live in the home with your child, it's a broken home. You just call it like I see it, because the reason I say it's broken, because when you go to sleep at night and your child goes to sleep at night, if they're in a different house than you, it's a broken home. It means if something happens in the middle of the night, God forbid, you can't be there. If some emergency happens, you won't be there right away. So the necessity that you need to be there in their life is just not happening. And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody who had to move on from a relationship because it was toxic or dysfunctional. I'm knocking you for continuing to do that, right? We all make mistakes. We all may choose the wrong person at one point. But to continue to engage in reckless behavior and then blame it on the relationship, like, oh, well, we moved on because of this. Oh, we moved on for that. But you were able to stay in a relationship to make multiple children and then move on. You went on another relationship and made multiple children and then moved on. At one particular point, are you going to have some accountability about yourself and say, look, I'm out here living the worst. And two, this is the other dumb part about that. Like, Cam, you knew you had all those children. At what point did you say, hey, I need to start putting some money to the side and, stacking some money up and making sure that I'm able to provide the lifestyle to my children that I'm currently providing them because I have so many. When did you think that might have been a good idea? Contract 1, contract 2, contract 3? When did you think, hey, maybe with all the children that I have, this village that I'm raising, I should probably be a little bit more financially savvy and put some of this money up so that when I do eventually retire, because it's inevitable that you're not going to be in the NFL forever. I want to be able, for my particular lifestyle, to not change. I mean, isn't that the goal of all retirement? You know? And I mean, you know, for the athletes, they have a leg up from the rest of us because they are exposed to such large amounts of money that they could, if they were moving smarter, not take a dip in their lifestyle, right? There's so many of them, because of the money they made, that they can put themselves in a position that after they're done with their sports career, that they can, you know, still maintain the lifestyle. And anything they do after their career would just be additional, right? So, like, let's say, for example, I did, you know, 5, 10, 15 years in the NBA, and, you know, I get out and I'm a sportscaster now. That money I'm making from being a sportscaster just be something to do. I'm just blowing through money. You know what I'm saying? I now the money I got in investments and, you know, different things, because I learned at some point in my career that, hey, I shouldn't be blowing through these big contracts. Because I'm thinking about, you know, maybe contract 2, 3, you know, so depending on how long your contracts are, I should be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start putting this money up. I'm going to start investing this money. I'm going to start going to a financial advisor and planner and you know, and make some different decisions instead of just continue to make more babies. You know, I look at a lot of, you know, our celebrities, and they engage in the same behavior. Black celebrities, you know, NFL rappers, stuff like that, NBA. Not all, but a good bit, a good enough bit that it's alarming. And continue to make children and make silly decisions when it comes to, you know, how they're managing finance and how they're managing their household. That it reminds me of the so-called Pookies in the neighborhood. You know, there's a lot of Pookies out there. They got a lot of children in different homes, and they continue to be able to make children. And at some point, while you say, oh, we should hold them accountable, baby girl, you knew he had kids before you slept with him. You know, he had multiple broken homes before he slept with him. So I can't put the onus just on the guy, because at one point is a woman going to say having multiple broken homes is not acceptable for you to get this cat? Do you think you're going to change him? Do you think if you're baby mama number 3 or 4, that all of a sudden this guy's going to be like, you know what? I got my stuff together. Now, it's different if the behavior changed, right? You know, if you were reckless as a younger person, and as you got older, you stopped engaging in that reckless behavior. But if it's fresh, you still got multiple little babies running around here, what are you doing? Why are you choosing this person, sir? Or ma'am, why are you choosing this person, ma'am? Because, you know, at what point are we going to hold ourselves accountable? I heard a stat. I don't know how true it is, but, you know, it made sense. 20% of the males in the black population have 80% of the babies. You know, and I don't know if that's the same 20% that I said in another video that 80% of the women chase. But if they have 80% of the babies, it would make sense, right? You know, these guys, you know, you got guys who are, you know, I think it's half of black men don't have children. Like for me, I'm 41, going to be 42. I don't have any children yet. I don't have any children. I'm just recently married. So it behooves me to think, okay, so if it's men like me out there, and I mean, obviously I know plenty of people who have children, you know, in all varying degrees of that dynamic, right? But if 50% of black men don't have children, you can't say, oh, it's because they're gay, or, you know, they chose not to. Just no, because not that whole 50% of black men are not gay. um, it's telling me that women are choosing the worst of us to give multiple babies to. For whatever reason that may be, it seems to be the case, right? I think that while the first baby mama may not have known that this dude, I mean, there might have been some signs that this dude was not going to be there. The second and third baby mama have to know, right? You know, especially the third, because that's the one that Cam's with now. I mean, she's the third baby mama, and it's like you thought that something's gonna be different. Not saying not saying that it won't be, right? Cam could have cured all, right? He could have cured all, and he could be, I'm going to settle down with this particular person. But I would be looking at that from a logical perspective, especially looking and saying, man, this dude has all these kids, so he got all these baby mamas. He had 2 baby mamas at a time, but all these kids, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sign up to have my first with a dude who has 7. 5 biological and 2 adopted. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm going to have my first baby with someone who has 7 prior to me. And her response was like, oh, when a rich dude put that pressure on you. Baby girl, that's just a lack of morality, to be honest. It's a lack of morality. You saw the bag, and any morals that you had about, yourself went out the window. Because if money can make you fold, it's a lack of character. I mean, maybe everybody has their price, but I can't say that. That's like me saying, I meet the baddest girl in the world, right? She cooking, she cleaning, she's submissive, she's feminine, fit feminine, all these things, right? But she used to be a porn star. She has all the scenes for everybody to see. She's not some obscure porn star. No, everybody know. Everybody didn't see her stuff. And she has the proclivity to still be shooting from time to time. It's her hustle, right? She might not shoot as much as she used to, but it's still in her. I'm gonna wipe that up. I mean, some guys might. Some guys be like, this is the best I'm gonna get. I'm okay with her have been smutted out before, and I'm okay with, her still being smutted out. I'm okay with all that. I don't think the majority of men who have some self-confidence would be okay with that, but that's the equivalent. Like, you already seeing the behavior, you know the history, and you're like, well, the way she do me, I can, fall back and let it happen to me. I'm because I'm going to account that, she's not going to go back into porn anymore, because she's changed. It's weird to me. It's weird that, people don't want to hold themselves accountable for the silly decisions they make. They want to say, men ain't this, men ain't that. But I'm like, you chose that, man. So what does that say about your choosing skills, especially when the evidence was there? Especially when the evidence was there. There's nothing in that person's history that said that they would treat you or do you anything different than how they did those others. And I think the kicker for me was like, with all that said, with all those kids you have, Cam, you ain't got no money. I mean, you were not only super reckless in your personal love life, you were super reckless with your finances, which would be like, what the heck are we doing as a community? Because he's not the first. He won't be the last. They get the bag, they pop out babies, and they go broke. I mean, we have people like Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon says, excuse, all my baby mamas get along, and, I'm giving them a check. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, because you cannot be with your children 24/7. So you're creating detriment. You're a high-paid Pookie. And, we continue to perpetuate the stereotype, of course. Because the thing about it, Tom Brady ain't got kids like that. What name me some white celebrities, and there might be some out there that have children all over the place. The only person I can think of that got a bunch of kids like that is Elon Musk. I think he got multiple children, but he's the richest man in the world. But for the most part, you don't see that in other communities where the people get money and just create multiple broken homes recklessly, right? It just doesn't happen. I think we're the only ones that do it. And, we have to change, and then, for Cam to still be like telling other people that they're not that guy. Cam, you're not that guy. You're an idiot. You've made silly decisions your whole life, and hopefully you can rectify them, and hopefully you can stay with the girl you're with, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably not.